Hello and welcome! Today we are going to be discussing another installment of the Laugh-O-Grams because there was a lot of them. We are going to be talking about Cinderella. Cinderella. This was Walt Disney's first installment of Cinderella back in 1922, and it shows how long he has wanted to do the fairy tale. And we'll cover it again later on, his version, the most well-known version, next month. That was made in 1950, but for now, let's focus on the short. So what was interesting with this short is that it's a little confusing to me, honestly. I was confused watching this, and I know the story of Cinderella. When it comes to the plot line of it, it is self-explanatory, but the first shot that we open on is of this cat, and this cat is everywhere. And I think upon further research that this cat is called Gus. I have to look more into the relevance of why he's still here, but he was in the last one, Puss in Boots, which was he was the main character in Puss in Boots. And it was cool because, like I mentioned back then, yesterday, how meta it was that they were introducing Cinderella, that he's in Cinderella too. So this is something I'm going to be looking upon further inspection. If you guys have any idea who this character is, let me know in the comments below and I will find out as well so we can learn together. But he starts out in this short with this girl that looks suspiciously familiar to the girl that was in the last film, as well as the prince. He also looks very similar to the boy that was in the last film, and the king looks very similar to the king that was in the last film. So I think if anything, this just proves that this is the first start of recycling images and recycling characters. What I liked about this short is how they put it into a modern setting, that Cinderella was a girl in the 20s and her disguise was a flapper dress. And it was really cool to me to see a modern take in it compared to the following installments are all set back in the time period that Cinderella was written in, and it's in that old-fashioned fairy tale-esque town. But it's cool because this one is in the 20s and it just basically is, she's a flapper. And the really cool thing I really liked about this short as well, and this is a question I've had with other Cinderella installments and will continue to ask when we get there, is the fact about putting the shoe on. Now, she could clearly see her face. She just had a flapper dress on and a headband. And so it's nice to see that when the boy was going around with the shoe to put it on everyone's feet, that they recognized each other when he got to her. Whereas the other ones don't necessarily recognize, or at least she pretends not to recognize him because she's all coy and shy. And this one, it's just like, it's you! And they live happily ever after. So it's a nice take on it, and it's very modern for that time period, and I think that's a really cool thing. Otherwise, it was kind of confusing. Pieces were thrown together. The animation, you could tell this one was very recycled, that they were using the same scenes, looping them 5-6 times in a row to get a full scene out. So they might have had budget restraints, or they might have just had a low budget and they were trying not to fail and try to get something out. But it's still something worthwhile to look into, especially if you want to compare it to the modern Cinderellas that you have seen in the past couple of years / decades. And it's cool to see where Walt Disney did his first version of this film because of the fact that he's so known for Cinderella later on in the 50s. So if you want to go ahead, I'm going to leave the link in the description below. And otherwise, as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.